All right. Welcome to my first time using a microphone for such a project. I have been told since I was a small child that I had a voice for radio, so it's it's good to be using it finally. Not really super familiar with this video recording software. Hopefully I get the hang of it. This is the third time I recorded this video. The first time it didn't record the audio at all, and the second time it didn't record the video at all. So there's no surprises for me in this league. I know what happens. I've seen it twice already. It's going to be a lot less genuine than the original video that I attempted to make, where I surprised myself with my own awfulness. Now, before we begin, I am going to point out that my limited rating is nothing spectacular. I am terrible at drafting, decent at sealed. I like my sealed game. My first Grand Prix Day 2 was in a sealed format. I made back in the day when they had just PTQs instead of PPTQs. I would always go to the sealed ones because I love sealed. Had quite a few top 8s where I exited the first round because I'm a trash drafter. Also, how my Pro Tour went. Trash drafter. My constructor rating is 1763 today. 2 days ago was 1793. And bad slivers are very bad. You'll see as we go through this that I went 5-0 my first time playing them. But last night I went 1-4 with them. And it was with that updated list that I posted in the Pauper subreddit. So you play that at your own risk. Without further ado, I am going to get right on in to some bad slivers here. You'll see that I got kind of lucky for the most part. Maybe don't go rushing to buy this deck. So I'm going to click this next thing here. To go through the mulliganing, and then I'm just going to be clicking play and letting it play at its normal feed, So this is a keep. Always happy to have a hand with Lead the Stampede in it, and enough mana to use as resources. I'm going to start things off with a Heart Sliver. I decided against Boros Monarch that they sometimes play their removal at sorcery speed to use their Karu lands, and they also sometimes have Firebolt. And I was going to try to eat that up with a Heart Sliver first. So you'll see that I am able to use my Mutagenic Growth here incredibly well to get the maximum amount of value there out of it as a green counterspell. I want to point out something here real fast. I didn't cast Lead the Stampede there, right? I could have cast Lead the Stampede. I suppose I also could have played that as a land. That would have been smart. But as far as turn 4 goes here, I could have played a Lead the Stampede, maximizing my use of my mana. I chose to commit a card to the board. In general, with this deck, Lead the Stampede is like a turn 6 play. You don't need to be playing on turn 3, turn 4. You want to commit to the board until you can no longer commit to the board, at which point you want to cast a Lead the Stampede so that you can continue to, put some threats in play. Here I chose to utilize my mana, not taking my own advice, and used that Lead the Stampede. I kind of wanted to reload after I got kind of owned there by his removal spells. You notice I whiffed on that, so here's my redemption. Yeah, that's no good. Yeah, my opponent had some things to say about that. I can see this game really fast after this. Whereas the first Lead the Stampede revealed 5 lands, the second Lead the Stampede also revealed another Lead the Stampede. So frankly, at this stage in the game, I got Chain Lightning that my opponent can copy. He has 4 cards in hand. He has all he needs to have. He's got Trump Blockers and an Air Force. Boros Monarch has done exactly what Boros Monarch wants to do. He's going to be able to flashback his Firebolt next turn on my Muscle Sliver. My only out this game is the 4th copy of Lead the Stampede into like 5 creatures, so I just packed it on in here. This is a mulligan. There's too much mana. We only need 1 land with our threats, Well, threat answer, rather. So we're going to mulligan this. And this is a nice hand. We're going to keep this one. Scratch that on top. I want more red sources because my hand is predominantly red. So that's why I'm scrying that on top. Also have to have a third land for Lead the Stampede. Which I am lucky enough to draw. But again, I want to commit to the board, right? In general, we tend to commit to the board with any sort of significant card, as opposed to cast our Lead the Stampede. Going to be able to use a lightning step here on the flying creature. Going to be able to straight up sinkhole our opponent with flashback with that Ancient Grudge. Right where the opponent starts missing land drops. And this Lead the Stampede is a divination, which is fine. Especially because our opponent still fails to find lands. And we can just dump our entire hand here, coming on in with a bunch of 3/3 first strikers. Lightning bolt off the top seals a deal for a deal that was basically already sealed. Even without that lightning bolt on top, let's say I just draw a land off the top. I get a swing for 12. My opponent's at 4 life. He has 3 blockers. They're all chumps, right? All my dudes are bigger than his, and my dudes have first strike, negating any sort of double block attempts. Yes, like it didn't need to draw the bolt there. My opponent needed to draw a third land. Is what really needed to happen for us to have a game. Mulligan. I'm going to mulligan to 5. Which does happen with Slivers regardless of what version you play. You do need to just sort of accept that you're going to mulligan to 5 sometimes. Now, I am not going to mulligan to 4, right? This hand's fine. Sure, we're on the play. Oh, no, sorry, we're on the draw. Right, so we're on the draw. So we're going to get an additional card on our first turn, and we're going to have the Scry, right, to help us find a second land here. Which is all we need. We have the green that we need. Our curve's 2. Easy keep on 5. Found the land off the Scry, and off we go. This game's pretty boring. I'm not gonna ruin it for you. My opponent is, though, gonna ruin it for you. Oh, real fast. Let me talk about sending plant tokens. I like to send plant tokens sometimes, early on in the game. The joke's all, there's that joke, right? To send a message. And that's not why we're doing that. We're doing that way it's not suspicious later if we need to send a plant token and hit it with metagenic growth for an additional attacker to get through lethal. So it helps send them early, that way it's less suspicious later. So you'll see me send with plant tokens for 0. Early on. My opponent has 1 land in this game. I don't know why he kept the hand he kept. I don't know what to tell you. My opponent just didn't want to play any magic. He even blocked wrong to kill himself dead. He killed the plant token. Just to straight up kill himself dead. Although with 1 land on turn 4, facing this board down, he's just dead anyway. So 1 and 0. It's all from 9/29. It's the only matches I played on 9/29 was the day of the pre-release. Was just sort of killing time before I went to my local game store, as the singles events, specifically the not the two-headed giant events, happened at 4 in the afternoon. I woke up at 10:30 that day after sleeping way in. This is a keep. Always love hands that have Gruul Turf and Lead the Stampede, because we want to be able to play our threats that we find with Lead the Stampede in the same turn if we can, which is why Lead the Stampede usually happens turn 5, turn 6, more frequently than at turn 3, because we just want to commit to the board until we can't. So always happy to see that combination there. But all I was really doing this day with Red Green Slivers was killing time. Now, because it's the day of pre-release, I do think it is relevant that I won a constructed league, a Pauper constructed league. Usually it takes me about less than 90 seconds to get paired in the league, right? And, oh god, wait. Real fast. I've saved my Chain Lightning so that I could use it on this Timberwatch Elf, right? I've been hanging on to it. I didn't waste it. I didn't waste it on the Priest of Titania. This is a card I'm worried about, and I hung on to it for this. And this game is cringe because I lose this game. I lose this game in the next 2 turns. How will surprise you. This is how, right here. This is how I lose the game. I hit F6 by accident, and I have to just straight up discard, pass the turn, and then click the concede button out of shame. I know. I amaze myself sometimes, honestly. Great hand, lots of mana, both colors. Gonna keep this one. So as I was saying before, it takes me on average about 90 seconds to get paired in this league. It took me 8 minutes to get paired for round 2. It took me 6 minutes to get paired for round 4, and I spent a lot of time waiting to find matches. So I went through that whole thing just a second ago. Sorry, let me finish my current train of thought. I played against what I think were the only other players in the league. So take this win for whatever. And while in general I do like to save my lightning bolt effects for Timberwatch Elf, or just any removal. With Slivers, right? Any removal, Journey of Nowhere, lightning bolt, what have you, you want to hit the Timberwatch Elf. It's the most important card. Most important card, followed by Elvish Vanguard, followed by Lissalana Huntmaster, followed by Quirion Ranger / that elf is a Birchwell Rangers, so you can tap 2 elves to make mana. Sometimes that guy matters, sometimes Priest of Titania matters, sometimes Well-Wisher matters. Everything is secondary to the first 3 that I mentioned, in that order of importance for prioritizing your own removal spells. I chose to whack this Elvish Mystic because my opponent missed a land drop. And on the turn he missed a land drop, he played a Quirion Ranger. And Quirion Ranger plus Elvish Mystic is pretty good. Pretty good. You only need 1 forest for it to be good. So I thought I would try to slow him down. He pulls another forest and an Elvish Mystic clone. So I'm left feeling silly. I do get a crash in for 6 here. Due to crash in for, a lot this next turn. But you'll see that I top deck the win because I need the provoke, because this would have gotten out of hand. This would have gotten out of hand. I would have had to have taken a much different route. If he had been able to use guys +1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6, maybe even 7, +6 or +7 to one of his guys, and a Quirion Ranger, right? So you can use the effect twice. Like, I'm probably supposed to lose this game, right? I'm probably just supposed to lose this game, but guess what? Provoke plus first strike. It's pretty good. So, on to the third game. Have I mentioned that I got obscenely lucky to win this? Because I played Bad Slivers the other night and went 1-4. So when you have 2 of them, you can do whatever you want with the first one, in my opinion. And I did that just because I was playing the Gruul Turf anyway, and I wasn't able to deploy anything, and I would have had to have discarded had I not used this. My opponent's well prepared for Electrickery. And you're going to see I'm going to wind up using my other Lightning Bolt right here. Okay? This is why. Look, he's no cards in his hand. Look, no cards in his hand. The only card in his hand is going to be the land, right? That he gets from this. So, this Priest of Titania needs to go. And let me explain why this Priest of Titania needs to die. Because Elvish Vanguard's not a threat off the top. Lissalana Huntmaster is not a very good threat off the top. Sure, Timberwatch, still pretty annoying off the top. We do have Hunter Sliver, though, so it's only so good. That makes the most fearsome cards my opponent could top deck. Lead the Stampede and Distant Melody, I believe is the name of the blue card that draws them all the cards. I want to handcuff him on his mana, so that should he draw one of those 2 cards that lets him reload his hand, he won't be able to deploy his entire hand as well. So you're going to see my opponent just straight up packs it in next turn once I drop the Hunter Sliver, which again, the Hunter Sliver does protect me from the top deck Timberwatch Elf. So I hit his mana again. Again, I targeted the mana. He's got nothing. He packs it in. Nice upgrade, by the way, in the Elves matchup from better Slivers to bad Slivers. Bad Slivers does better against Elves than the better Sliver deck. Alright, let's see if I keep this. I am on the draw. It's close. Probably would keep this hand. Wouldn't love it, but let's face it, this hand's okay. Probably do wind up keeping it. It's okay. Yeah, I do keep it. It's a marginal keep. You can send it back, but sending it back's marginal too. So, I can lay out. As far as the important cards in my hand go, the Lords are pretty important. So, it's an okay keep. It's listen, I'm not going to win any sort of prizes for this keep. I'm also not going to win any prizes for failing to cycle a Tranquil Thicket when I left up my mana to do so. Instead of casting my Metallic Sliver, I left up my mana to cycle this Tranquil Thicket, and as you're going to see, I totally failed to do that. Also, I get a Commune for Nature for 3 mana. It's pretty good. And then I compound my mistakes even further by not playing out this Tranquil Thicket, which is, yeah, it's like that F6 against Elves. Marijuana is legal in the state of Colorado, and it was a Saturday. So, there's a reason I couldn't remember when people asked me in the weekly thread. Right, every week there's a thread with all the 5-0 lists, and they were like, what did you play against? I'm like, I don't know. Boris, Mark, twice, some blue-black deck, I don't know. Well, there's a reason I couldn't remember. Same reason why I hit F6. I'm going to walk this last turn back here, though. You'll see that I top-decked a Virulent Sliver. And then where previously I had not been sending the team, I decided to go for it. Right after he had tapped down low to wipe the remainder of my hand with his Probe. Okay. Now, he could have Tragic Slip or Disfigure here, and I will lose the game. If he has that on. This Virulent Sliver, right, kills this one, blocks this one, he's going to take a whopping 3 damage and a whopping 6 poison, which just isn't enough to get the job done. And I'm going to be left with this guy, and this guy, which is not where I want to be. No cards in hand. But if we don't go for it, our opponent gets to untap with all his mana, and he's going to have 5 cards in hand after he draws his card. I'm not winning those games either. Like, I'm just not going to win those games very frequently. Probably never. Let's be real. Where I'm hellbent, and my opponent is, good to go with his 5/5, his 1/3, all the mana in the world, flashback spells in the graveyard, multiple flashback spells in the graveyard, and 5 cards in hand, and plenty of life. It's not like a lightning bolt's going to get him. So, Frank, you just have to go for it, right? You just have to take your chances in situations like those, and just gun it, and hope they don't have the spell to blow you out, because it's your best chance of winning. This is a keep. It's a pretty nice hand, too. Luthor Stampede is the most important card in this blue-black control, regardless of what Slivers variant you choose to play. So seeing it in our opener is it's nice. I figured the Hard Sliver would be good here, because he's, got some counter spells in there. And he's also got some sorcery speed removal in the form of Edicts. I figured having haste for the rest of the game would be pretty good. Gonna get rid of the roadblock, gonna get in there with the 2 dudes, and my opponent is gonna start missing land drops, including drawing 2 off a Muldrifter here, which is just straight up brutal. I mean, I'm missing them too. Like, I'm missing land drops too, but all my stuff's cheap, and his stuff is, it's more expensive. So, I don't have an attack here. Don't know why I was even thinking about it. Oh, right. I know why I was thinking about it. We already covered that. This was ambitious. I figured it was getting countered, but I always figured I want to do something. My turn is supposed to just sit there on my hands, trying to draw land to hold up Pyroblast. Pyroblast is going to be good one way or another before it's all said and done. I was able to protect my second, lead the Stampede with Pyroblast. Didn't matter. So here's what happened. The video playback gets corrupted right here. Alright. My opponent loses on a subsequent turn. You'll see it says paid green, and I have a red floating. I clicked on Virulence, where I was trying to click I clicked on Virulent, where I was trying to click on either Metallic or Striking. I believe I ultimately went with Metallic, untapped, played Virulent, Striking Sliver, using Mutagenic Growth and Pyroblast to help protect the team, and I was able to send it on in there with enough poison dudes, right? Pyroblast protected against the counter spell, Mutagenic Growth protected against any disfigures or any echoing decays. He's shown us echoing decays. He presumably has disfigure. So the playback's corrupted, but I win this game with poison. That much I remember. I pop out some dudes, and then haste plus poison is how we closed out this game. This gentleman is a member of the Pauper community, and he interacted with me. And this is a keep. He may enjoy seeing how ridiculously lucky I got against everybody, not just him. Because this first game is a real doozy. Look at this. Turn 1 Delver. That's a great start. But unfortunately for him, he's going to flip this Delver, which means there's not a land on the top of his deck. And unfortunately for him, that Preordain does not find a land either. And on the third turn, I have 9 power in play. He's at 12. He finds another land, he plays another Delver, and that's all she wrote. He untaps and realizes there's not a single card in the format that can save him, and he concedes. Unfortunately, balance is not legal. Planes into balance might have gotten the job done there. We see this game goes to, all the way to 3. So, no shockers here. Alright, so here's a hand that I can justify a keep on. Alright, and again, this video is not as genuine as the first time I walked it through. Because, this is the third time for me attempting to record it. But I guessed correctly the first time that I wound up keeping this hand. And my reasoning was, I have both colors of my mana. Right? I have both colors of my mana. I have my most important card in the matchup, which is my late game. So I don't mind that I'm nowhere close to casting it because it's my late game. I also have my sideboard card that I brought in, so that's pretty sweet. And I'm on the... Am I on the play? No. I'm on the draw, right? I'm on the draw, so I get an additional card. I have both colors. If I can find a second land, I can play out 6. I can play all these cards, 6 of my 7 cards, right, including the land. I guess you don't play lands; you put them into play. But this is, if we remove this lead the Stampede, how good of a 6-card hand is this? Right? If we had mulliganed, we would keep this on a mulligan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6. We would keep that 6 on a mulligan. So even just ignoring the lead Stampede, this hand is, I think it's worth a risk on the draw, specifically on the draw. Worth keeping. On the play, probably not. So we're going to start with the Striking Sliver. If we play Rugged Highlands tapped, we can play 2 1/1 Slivers on turn 2. But this way we get an extra point of damage. Here we see my opponent's Pauper collection is nicer than my own, as he owns copies of Daze. Whereas I play the version of Inside Out combo with a lot of Augurs, because I don't own Dazes. Intellect Trickery is looking real bad here. I think that's the one that I still had the main deck. I don't think I boarded in anymore. I think I just boarded in Pyroblasts. And probably Relics. Probably boarded in Relic against him. And that's game, right? I conceded right there. And I'm just too far behind. My opponent gets to come in for 6, he gets to put me at 9, and then what the hell am I going to do? I'm going to play a 1-1. I'm going to tap out for this Lead the Stampede, which may not even resolve. It's pretty bad for us. Tapping out for Lead the Stampede, we die, because he gets to swing in. He gets to swing in for 6 twice. We're going to be at 3 when we're trying to lay out some slivers and make the magic happen. Don't know how we're going to interact with 5-5 realistically. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of just, being real and just keeping over it and just clicking the concede button. I'll hang on for dear life if I had to wake up and drive to a venue to play Magic in person. I will hang on for dear life. I will not concede. You will have to deal with everything for me to, But if I'm hanging around home in my pajamas or my bathrobe, enjoying, the legal options of my state, then, it's real fast to be over it. So, we're keeping this hand. It's pretty good. This time, I think we're going to start things off with the Rugged Highland, and we do. We can't play the Virulent Sliver off the mountain, so we don't want to go mountain into metallic turn 2 Rugged Highland. This way lets us deploy 2 1/1 creatures by turn 2, where we could not otherwise. I tried to get him with Mutagenic Growth here. We try really hard, and he punishes me. Sometimes you can catch a Ghastly Demise with Mutagenic Growth. That was not one of those times. Also, let's walk it back a few turns real fast. I should not have played my Metallic before my Virulent. The last time I had both of these guys in play, I had 2 mana, my opponent had a Terramorphic Expanse, and I played my Metallic before my Virulence, and you shouldn't do that. You should just be mindful of days, right? You want to tap out for this guy, right? He doesn't bring anything to the table. This guy does. So that was a noticeable mistake. This made my day. I had a really good day playing Magic this day. I went 11-1 altogether, 5-0 here, and then X-1 at my pre-release to win the pre-release. And it's real close between winning the pre-release and pyroblasting that gush. It's real close. It's been a long time since I got a pyroblastic gush, and I've been dreaming about pyroblasting gushes with slivers, for just the entire last year. So that really did make my day. This is right where it gets awkward for me, as he plops down this angler here, and all of a sudden when I have 2 cards, really just 1 card in hand, my opponent has 5 cards in hand, I have 0 interest in doing a 2-for-1 trade. Alright? 0 interest in doing a 2-for-1 trade. And I just want to sit on it for a little bit. He's going to wind up knowing that I have a Lightning Bolt and land in hand. And here in this turn, I make an interesting decision. Before his combat step, I built into his face, right? He Ghastly Demises my dude out the way. I don't know why he was worried about Virulent more than Predatory Sliver on 9 life when I had a Bolt in hand. Maybe it's because I won with Poison. The game 1. Well, actually, I just want from him stumbling. That's right, I want from him stumbling. So I'm really curious why he prioritized the Poison Sliver. That is an interesting decision to me. But as far as my decision-making processes go, me bolting him in the beginning of combat phase was actually a really tasty line. And the reason why it's a really tasty line, one, I got Pyroblast, obviously, so I can be a little bit more liberal with trying to connect with things, being able to protect them from counterspell. But he has to respect my deck. His only black source is tapped, right? He can't kill his Predatory Sliver. Is he going to risk me top-decking a Heart Sliver, getting in for 4? Or me top-decking a Muscle Sliver, getting in for 3, having another 3/3, and him being at 3 in a deck that plays both Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolt? He just can't. He just has to respect my Gangster, when I bolt his face before combat. And you'll see, as a result, he doesn't send. In fact, he just stops sending here for a few turns. So, it was an interesting decision on my part. It worked out. May not have worked out, right? He may have recognized right here that he can start sending his 5/5 as soon as he has this guy, right? But he didn't. He still respected it. The possibility of me just top decking something really good. So that Lightning Bolt to the face not only dealt 3 damage, but it gained me at least 10 life. At least 10 life it gained me. And really slowed him down. So on this subsequent turn, I find my Relic, and I immediately cycle through it. Just immediately. I used my Gruul Turf to do it because it was easier and as MTGO, but it is a mistake. You're going to see it as a mistake because the card we want to top deck most is that Lead the Stampede. And then, we're only going to be able to play Red Slivers based off of how we tap this. If we tap 2 Mountains for Relic, and then, cast our Lead the Stampede, we would have had Gruul Turf to work with, all right? We could have left up Gruul Turf. And that would have been much, much better. But again, I played below average for the most part this league, and I ran well above average for the most part of this league. I smashed this Brainstorm, okay, with this Pyroblast, and I didn't snap it off, right? I took a second. The playback doesn't show that I took a second, but here's the deal. My Predatory Sliver has been in play for a long time, right? My Predatory Sliver has remained alive for no fewer than 4 subsequent turns. What does this tell us? With 3 cards in my opponent's hand, it means he does not have a removal spell. Now, at the point which our Lead the Stampede also resolved, right? I didn't have to protect it with Pyroblast. He does not have Counterspell. He does not have removal, and he does not have Counterspell. That Brainstorm that he just played, he top-decked, or he would have played it sooner, right? These are assumptions I'm making, but they seem... The logic seems solid to me, right? It seems sound. The 3 cards in his hand must be trash, or else my Predatory Sliver would not be alive, and this Gurmang Angler would have been bringing the beats hard, a lot faster. It's just it seems to me like his hand could be like 2 lands in a daze. So Brainstorm, we can't let Brainstorm resolve. Okay, you can give him the opportunity to draw into cards that matter. And the main phase Brainstorm, really indicative of top deck desperation. I want to get rid of what's in my hand by seeing some fresh hand, some fresh cards. So that's why we use the Pyroblast on the Brainstorm. We draw a bolt here, like a god. Our opponent does find removal finally, which again, that makes sense that he top deck that based on how this game is played. He still doesn't have a counterspell. We get a nice 3 mana communion with nature, and it is actually enough to get the job done. He's going to be at 6. He's going to block. I'm going to get in. He was at 6. He goes down to 1 here, right? Because this dealt 2. Goes down to 1. Playback cuts off here. I thought I had lethal when I cast that Lightning Bolt. Playback cuts off here. Wondering what happened at this exact moment. Because it looks like that bolt only brought him down to 1. Which just means I should have used it on the Sultai Scavenger. No. He's at 6. Yeah, he's at 6. Or no, he's at 4. Right? The Heart Sliver. Oh yeah. No. It's late. Sorry, I've done this 3 times. The playback for this match hasn't worked yet on this last turn, but That's what happened there. I'll get better at this, guys. Just be patient with me. Alright, so we're going into the finals here. We do get to play against Boris Monarch again. Boris Monarch is a good matchup for whatever versions of Slivers you play, although it is a better matchup for better Slivers than it is for bad Slivers. This sure does look like a mulligan. Man, this is close. Oh, yeah, I remember what happens now. I keep this because I thought I was on the draw. This is a marginal keep on the draw, okay? This is a marginal keep on the draw. This would be among the worst hands, some of the worst hands that we're choosing to keep and not mulligan on the draw. This hand's going to be in the mix there. Between the additional card and the scry, we are hoping to find a green source in being able to play out the majority of our hand, because, well, we don't know he's Boris Monarch, but at the point which he is Boris Monarch, our lead the Stampede always resolves, so it doesn't necessarily matter what turn we do get that down, so long as it's able to bring us back into the game. So I wind up keeping this hand, and it is a noticeable mistake to keep this hand on the play. It's an acceptable keep on the draw. It is marginal. You see we do find the green source, which is nice, although it's, not the best green source in the world. And our opponent never does anything. He just plays one land and dies. So, yeah. Because it's full Art Mountain, I assumed he was on burn. And I boarded like trash. And even better, I wind up keeping this next hand because I think he's on burn. And because I think he's on burn, this Lightning Bolt sure is pretty good, because Thermal Alchemist is the card that worries me most. Thermal Alchemist makes racing pretty much impossible. So, regardless of what version of Slivers I have, when playing against burn, I am going to prioritize keeping hands that will have removal in them. Unless my opponent has already cast Gitaxian Probe on me, in which case I presume he's not running Thermal Alchemist. Most of the time the guys playing Gitaxian Probe only run Lava Runner, it's Lava Runner, right? So that's my justification here when I decided to keep this hand. I'm up a game, I'm on the draw. I've got some plays I can play. Lightning Bolt's going to stop Thermal Alchemist, but guess what? Turn 1 Windscar Crag shows me the error of my ways. Nothing interesting happens this game at all. I just draw red lands and green spells until I concede. Also, how unrealistic was I with this Feed the Clan? Let's just talk about this for a second. This is a terrible decision for me to put this in my sideboard. I was just like, hey, I need something to put in there for burn, because a lot of people play burn. And they can race really effectively. So I need some way to gain life. But like, how often really am I going to have a creature with power 4 or greater when my opponent is packing 4 copies of Searing Blaze and I only have 8 Lords instead of 12 Lords? Just doesn't feel that realistic. I don't even have Plated Sliver to make my dude's butts bigger. I don't even have Watcher Sliver. Not that I play Watcher Sliver anymore, but I have zero means of making my dude's butts bigger, so they're not going to live. So I don't know how I'm going to have a guy at power 4 or greater. Life Goes On seems way more realistic. 1 green mana, our guys are going to die to Searing Blaze, so may as well gain 8 life out of it. So that's my whole thoughts on Feed the Clan being absolutely trash. I did spoil this game a little bit in response to the weekly thread where they go over the 5-0 lists, and I joked that the guy who won with red green Slivers must have gotten real lucky. This is going to be one of those games we're going to mulligan, and we're going to love this hand. And this is one of those spots where I've already recorded this twice, and I didn't actually record it, and I actually had to download completely different software to make. Hopefully, if this doesn't work, I swear if I'm talking this microphone for a third time for more than half an hour and there's nothing to show for it, something's getting broken. Probably the microphone. Anyway, you don't run out Gorilla Shaman, right? You don't run out Gorilla Shaman on turn 1 in a deck like this, because Gorilla Shaman is here to eat lands, right? It is Boros Monarch, right? This guy is here to eat lands, and not all their lands are artifact lands, so we want to make sure we actually get something out of this guy, and he doesn't just eat a lightning bolt. This guy is better than Sinkhole against artifact mana. Alright, Sinkhole is 2 mana, destroy a land. This is 2 mana, destroy a land, get a 1/1. So, pretty good. We're going to put that guy on top because he's a castable Sliver. Oh, we put that guy on bottom, apparently. Worth it. Drew Mutagenic Growth to counter the Lightning Bolt. Got to eat the Artifact Land with the Gorilla Shaman. Got to eat the Clue with the Gorilla Shaman. Which is maybe not even the correct line. Instead of laying out another Muscle Sliver, but I really wanted to just eat stuff with the Gorilla Shaman. And this Lead the Stampede finally pays off for us, getting us a 4-for-1, which is not what Boros Monarch wants to see, is the opponent get a 4-for-1. So, actually, at this point in the game right here, this game is unwinnable for my opponent in my estimation, given my hand. Okay? Ancient Grudge is going to stop the next Glinthawk, right? Should we not tap out? Ancient Grudge is going to make Glinthawk sacrifice itself. It's going to make Core Skyfisher super, super awkward. And of course, it is going to be able to act as Sinkhole should its next land be an artifact land. So, just given the strength of Ancient Grudge, plus the effectiveness of Provoke combined with First Strike, I honestly think, like, right here, the game is just unwinnable for my opponent. But it's also turn 8 and he has 2 lands in play, so maybe that's why I feel that way. And that's game. So, like I said, I got obscenely lucky to take this thing down with red-green Slivers. I was only playing red-green Slivers to kill some time before I went to the pre-release. And I only chose to play red-green Slivers because I had already won a league with green-white Slivers. And I decided a while ago, the next time I win a league with green-white Slivers right away, and there's pretty much most of the week just to work with, that I was going to try to win one with red-green Slivers. I figured it would take several attempts and some more fine-tuning. Wind up taking just pure luck is the shortest distance to the goal there. And I got down to the first one. Now, I did play another league with it last night, and I've mentioned already a few times, but I went 1-4. So, play this deck at your own risk. It is named Bad Slivers for a reason. It is pretty fun to play, though, I gotta be honest. It's nice having lightning bolts in an aggro deck, where you can also make, first strike guys, haste guys, poison guys, make your team bigger. Provoke is an amazing ability. And, I played 25 creatures in this list, which is why you watched me whiff on Lead the Stampede, and why Lead the Stampede was usually just a divination. So, in the updated list, I did go up to 28 creatures. I'm probably going to cut the 4 Chain Lightnings that I put in the updated list for 4 Mutagenic Growth, as green counterspell is quite good, and deal 3 damage for 1 red mana. Maybe not as exciting as I thought it would be at sorcery speed. I'd love to have a Fire Blast or 2 in this, but let's look at my mana base and be realistic. That's just not going to happen. So, this was my first, one of these that I've done. Hopefully, people were able to enjoy this, even if there isn't a lot of large lessons here, right? There's nothing groundbreaking that we were able to cover here today. It's not like, it's not like it's one of those videos where it's like, hey guys, check out this red-green Slivers deck. I thrash everyone because my deck is amazing, and I've broken the metagame. It's not that. It's not the video we're making, So, hopefully there's still some value for those who have watched it. I will be making more Pauper videos in the weeks to come. It's not going to be on this channel, though. Don't bother clicking the subscribe button to SRG 727. That is I use this channel, the last time I used this channel before these videos was to do some walkthroughs of some rental properties, to record them to show my would-be roommates what it looked like, because their phone, for whatever reason, wasn't letting me just send the video directly. So that's the last time I used this YouTube channel, previous to this. Before that, there's like me doing some disc golf stuff. And that's sort of what the point of SRG 727 is a YouTube channel, is for personal use. I'm going to make a YouTube channel with some sort of Pauper theme in the name. And once I have a name I feel comfortable with, you're going to see this video up over there. And a lot more content to come. We're going to do some live stuff, right? I'm explaining my thoughts as I make my plays, rather than having the luxury of going back through and saying, oh, I wound up doing this and this was a mistake. Or going through and going, saying, look how good that lightning bolt was. I saved myself 10 life. I'm not going to have the luxury of being able to do that. You're going to see me, or rather you're going to be able to listen to me as I make my decisions, and I'll be able to go through my decision-making process. You're going to get a lot more out of that. So there's going to be some of that. I'm going to do some of that with Grix's Alchemist. Do some of that with better slivers. Might do it some bad slivers because it's not out of my system just yet. And I am going to do, eventually, I am going to do some Naya slivers, because we're working on a deck with 37 slivers in it right now, and the mana base is trash, but it'll come to eventually. But that's, in short, what I have coming on up. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a good one.